Okay, we're doing something a bit more challenging today. We are going to be creating another character that we can control in our game, and we'll be able to shift control from one to the other. The goal of this is so that eventually, when we're creating more complicated levels with puzzles, that one character might have a different shape than the other and different abilities, so that you would shift between control of one character to the other. To solve the puzzle, and creating the puzzle is up to your own creativity. So first, to making the new character, go ahead and in a scene, duplicate the current character. Oops. So select, and I do Command D, or you can right click to duplicate. It would be right click, duplicate, and rename this one to the new character. I'm going to call it Charlotte. Click in Scene so that you can drag the character Charlotte a little bit further away. And first, to make this character look different, we're going to want to rename, resize, and recolor this character. So first, to making them about half the height as the first character, we're going to take the Y scale here, which is 2, change it to 1. So it's a little bit shorter now. And then to change the color, go ahead to your materials. I'm going to create a new material. Right click, create, material, and I'm going to make yellow. Oops. Click in the color box to get your color wheels up and find yellow, or whatever color you want really. Set the alpha to 255 if it's not. That'll make it totally opaque. We've got yellow, or yellowish, and you can just apply that to, there we go, to Charlotte. And let's see, we did the resize, rename, and recolor. Okay, great. So let's press play so you can see how they actually control. So right now, because they both have a movement script attached to them, they actually can be controlled at the same time, which is not ultimately what we want. It's a little bit funky. It's kind of interesting to see how they control differently, though. What we're going to do, while in gameplay, I'll show this as an example. Click on Charlotte, and you can click on her control script, click back in scene, and then start controlling them again. And although you can move Charlotte, you're actually only going to be able to control the one that has the control script enabled. When you click a component like this, it'll enable or disable it. So this is enabled, and then unclicking is disabled. So we're basically going to do that, enabling and disabling, but from code rather from in the game. You can go ahead and unplay it. We're going to create a new script to switch control of the characters. So go to your scripts folder, right-click to create C# script, and we're going to call it one word. We'll call it switch control, enter, double-click to open it. This part up here where it says using, we're going to add using system.collections.generic. And adding that allows us to use generic lists rather than just an array that has a set length and a set type of object. This gets us to be more versatile. So we're going to create, first thing, a public list that's going to hold game objects. So a list of game object. And our list is called characters in level. And this is public, so we'll be able to drag and drop our objects to it, but it's going to contain all of the controllable characters in the level. And then we're going to set int current player number equals 0. And that's going to keep, this current player number is going to keep track of which character is currently in play. And we're going to set it at 0, and this will refer to the first character in our list of characters in level. So in update is where we're going to be checking to see if we should switch control. And I'm going to write some pseudocode here that says if input is either shift key, so either the left shift key or the right shift key, then switch character control to next character in game. Now we're going to write some of our special functions that will allow us to do this. We're going to write our own function, public void switch character control. And this will say deactivate controls of current character being controlled. And then if current player is last player in list, so we're actually setting it up in a versatile way so that we could even have 3 or 4 or more than 2 players in a list. So it wouldn't just be the first player in the list and then the second player in the list and then starting over. So whatever the last player in the list is, if that's the current player, then the next player to get control will be the first one in the list. So set current player to first player in list. Else, so meaning if the current player is not the last player in the list, then just increase the current player number by 1. And finally, activate whatever character has the current player number. Character with new player number. We'll fill this in with actual code later. And then we're going to write another custom function, public. Actually, going to write another custom function. And I don't think this one needs to be public. Public, we make it public when we want another script to be able to access this script. And I don't think we'll need to, but we can change it easily enough if we change our minds later. We'll make it void activate character control. And as an argument, it will take game object, so type game object, and we'll call the variable that it takes as an argument this character. And the first thing it's going to do is activate this character's move script. So that puts this character in control. And then we're going to write another function, void deactivate character control. So it's going to be very similar to the activate character control function. So it also takes as an argument game object this character. And it will deactivate this character's, excuse me, it's not move script, it's control script. The control script that we wrote for it earlier. And then finally, we have public void remove from character list game object this character as argument. And the reason we have this public is because it's going to be called from another script. And what it does is it takes as the argument a character that is going to be removed from our list of characters in a list. So when a character reaches its portal and goes and sort of goes to the next level, or goes through the portal, then it'll be removed from playable characters until we enter a new level. So we can actually just fill that in with code right now. It'll just be characters in level dot remove this character. So we can go ahead and fill in some of the other functions with actual code now. So starting from the top in update, if input.get key down, so when the key is pressed, and we'll call that key, it's going to be key code dot left shift, so the left shift key, or, that's the sign for or, input dot get key down, key code dot right shift, then we'll call our function switch character control. And I think I must be missing a parenthesis here. There we go. Switch character control. We'll fill in some of the code for switch character control. So the first thing it does is deactivate character control, and as an argument it will take whatever the current character is, which is going to be characters in level, and we're going to use its index current player number. So if this is 0, it'll take the first character in the list. If it's 1, it'll take the second character in the list. If current player number is equal to characters in level dot count minus 1, and the pseudocode is what that means, the if current player is last character in list. So because this gets characters in level dot count gets the total count of items in the list, but the last item in a list will actually have the index of the count minus 1. That's why we do it if the current player number is the count minus 1. Parentheses. Then the new current player number equals 0. So it'll be now the first player in the list. Else, we're going to increase the count by 1, and we can do that by just doing current player number plus plus, which increases it by 1. And then finally, activate the character with the new player number. Activate character control characters in level current player number. And even though we can still call these functions, even though right now you can see that there's actually nothing going on in them, but we've sketched them out at least, which is helpful, I think. So we're going to fill in activate character control. And first we have to find the character's control script. And we do that by stating the name of the script, which is its control. It's also its type. And we'll call it control script. We'll name the variable. Equals control this character dot get component. So the script is actually a component of our game object. And then we'll say get the component that has type of control. Okay, and now we know, now that we have it, we found it, we say control script dot enabled equals true. So we set the script to true, it's enabled to true, which enables it. And then the deactivation is pretty much just the opposite. You can actually copy these, paste it here, and it'll just be setting the control script to false, the enabled to false. Go ahead, save your script. Go back to the scene, drag the switch control script to the main camera, and then select main camera, scroll down in its inspector, and you'll see the characters in level. Open that up, and because we're going to have 2 characters in this scene, enter 2 for its value, enter, and it gives us 2 elements now. So the first character that's going to have control, we'll have that be Laura. Drag her to element 0, and the second character, or element 1, will be Charlotte. Drag her to element 1. Since Laura will start with control, make sure that her control script is checked, and that Charlotte's, who should not be controlled, is not selected. And then lastly, let's go to prefabs and create a new prefab. Call it Charlotte, and drag Charlotte, who's right now actually a prefab of Laura. If we were to select apply here, it would change all of the Laura prefabs, all of them into just to look like Charlotte. So let's drag Charlotte to the Charlotte prefab. Okay, great. Let's play the scene and see if our shift control works. Okay, so I press left, only Laura is controlled, which is what I want. And now press either shift key, and then you should have Charlotte controlled. Yay! It worked! So we still have another problem to solve. Right now, even if it's just Laura who goes through the portal, it's sufficient to load the next level. And we want to make sure that both of the characters actually go through the portal. And so we're going to need to make them each their own appropriately sized portal. So let's first select portal and duplicate it, Command D, and name this portal, the new one, Portal Charlotte. And we'll name the old one Portal Laura. And select Portal Charlotte, and let's give it half the height. So change the Y scale to half, which should be about 0.075, I think. And then we can scoot her over a little bit. Let's see what that looks like in game. So right now this portal would be for Charlotte, and this one would be for Laura. So to make sure that that happens, on Portal Charlotte, in her portal script, in the portal script, where it says Laura, this is saying check to see if the character running into me is called this name, and if it is, load the next level. We want it to be called Charlotte. So right now that portal will interact with Charlotte, and later we can also we'll reposition the portal. So that works. But right now, one character going through either portal is sufficient to load the next level. And we want to make sure that all of the characters that are in our list switch control, whether it's 1 character or 2 characters or 4 characters, they all have to go through a portal to load the next level. So let's go ahead and open up our portal script. We want the portal script to be able to check in with the switch control script. So we're going to, below our load script, declare our switch control. We'll call it switch script. And we can define it here as switch script equals, let's type switch control, camera, because it's on the camera. So get a component from the camera, other.get component, type of switch control. So we're going to add some more code inside of the onTrigger enter. So it says if the other.name is equal to the character name, let's say for right now, if the count of game objects in characters in level is more than 1, then switch controls to next character, and then remove other from list of characters in level. Else, meaning if there's not more than one character in the list of characters, then that means that all the characters have reached their portal, and we can go ahead and load the next level. So the code for that will say if switch script, I'm going to check its list, characters in level dot count, it's more than 1, then first we're going to switch controls. So it means that a character has reached its portal. And we'll put a visual symbol in there later, like maybe the character that's reached a portal will change colors and might shrink down until it disappears. But right now we're just going to switch the controls to the next character. Switch script dot switch character control. And then remove the character that just went through its portal from the list of characters in the list. And that's because we're no longer going to be switching to them, because it's as if they've left the level. Remove the character from the list, other dot game object. And we have to say other dot game object because the other here is actually referring to a collider. So we want to get the collider's game object, and we can do that by saying other.gameObject. Else, load the script. So load script.load, which will load the next level. Let's save it. Go back to your scene. Oh, we have an error. We have a few things to fix here. I accidentally didn't put in the full, I didn't put a type in for our type of. So we need to say type of switch control. And there might be one more error. Oh, let's try playing. Okay. So hopefully this won't load the next level when. Okay, so now the control has switched to Charlotte. So Laura has stopped moving. And yep, great, that works. So from there we'll want to reposition our portals to make them maybe look a little bit nicer, maybe change the colors of each character when they hit their portal, and then make them shrink to a much smaller size so that it actually looks like they've disappeared.